Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session, Evaluating the Shift from Legacy ITSM. My name is Robert O'Brien. I'm a solutions consultant, and today we're going to take a clear-eyed look at how traditional ITSM platforms are holding teams back and what it means to make the leap to something more modern, intelligent, and truly agentic. Now, I'm excited to be joined by someone who has helped shape the future of this space. He's the co-founder and chief revenue officer of Rezolve.ai, but more importantly, he's been on the front lines helping organizations rethink what ITSM could be. Please welcome Manish Sharma. And Manish, before we dive in, do you want to take a second to introduce yourself and share what drew you to this whole idea of reinventing IT support?
Yeah, thank you, Rob, for a nice introduction. Really appreciate it. Um, Employee support and employee workplace automation has been a very clear area of interest for a lot of companies for a long time. There are a lot of incumbents which have worked a lot in the last 10, 20 years in this space. However, with agentic AI and generative AI, things are changing quite a lot. And that gives an opportunity for companies like Rezolve.ai to redefine what workplace automation, workplace service, employee support, what all this means and how it can be delivered. That's what we are doing.
So let's set the stage here. When people hear legacy ITSM, they usually think of clunky on-prem systems. But honestly, even some of the cloud tools out there today feel just as rigid. And it's not about how old the platform is, it's about whether it can actually keep up. So what makes a platform truly legacy in today's world?
Well, I would say anything without agentic AI and generative AI is legacy. That's a very big statement because many applications have not been able to transition into agentic AI and generative AI so far. But the truth is, in the last 2.5 years, if you have not been able to move to a generative AI,
Mhm.
then you are already kind of irrelevant to the market at this point of time because the market expectation are changing quite a lot over last few last few months. So if you're not agentic and you're not generative, I think you are a legacy product at this point of time. Whether you're a SaaS product or on-prem, it doesn't matter. But I think you're a legacy product at this point of time.
So modern ITSM platforms, they're smarter, they're built around people, not just tickets. They're going to be dynamic, intuitive, and responsive to real world demands. So what do you think defines that truly modern, non-legacy ITSM platform? And what would you say some of the key characteristics are?
Yeah, so for a modern ITSM system, you definitely need agentic AI, preferably, not even just generative AI, but agentic AI. And when I say you need agentic AI, it's not just a chatbot that you put in the front connected to your ITSM and say, hey, I
Sure.
put some kind of chatbot that looks like a generative AI, and that puts me in a non-legacy, bucket. That's not true. The AI has to be woven through the fabric of the product. When you say agentic AI, that means it's a lot of intelligence, and that intelligence has to be woven through the product. For example, it has to be there in incident management, it has to be there in problem management, change management, everything, everywhere you look, there has to be intelligence in there. For example, let's take a case of incident management. In the previous versions, you'll create a ticket with whatever information you have, whether it's an employee or a technician. The ticket will be created the way, with whatever information the best could be given by the employee. But in the modern IDSM, you'll use AI to get better information from the employee, decide where to route this ticket, who gets to work on this ticket. Maybe it is a technician who's already, a lot of experience in working these kind of tickets. So you are applying your intelligence in all the aspects of ITSM, and that is what truly defines a modern ITSM.
So can you walk us through what agentic AI really is and how is it different from the typical Gen AI tools, that people are familiar with, ChatGPT and, some of these other tools that are out there?
Yeah. So, I'll throw a definition on the screen for the what we call as agentic AI. But as far as I'm concerned, there are two things which define the difference between agentic AI and generative AI and previous kind of AIs. The biggest difference is thinking capability, capability to reason, capability to think. And the second biggest difference is action. Agentic AI is very action oriented. Let me give you an example. Um, let's say there's a document in the repository about a particular topic. And let's say this document is difficult and can only be best utilized by a technician. This document is not meant for a average employee. Let's say I'm an average employee and I go and type a question related to that document. Now, if it's a generative AI, what generative AI is going to do is going to take the document, create a good summary of it, and give it to you, just like ChatGPT and other products do, right?
Sure.
But if your product is truly agentic in nature and its mission is very clear to it, it might say, "Hey, a user is asking for this information. I have this information here, but this information is too complex for the user. These seems like instruction for the technician instead of for the users." And therefore, the product might come and tell you, "Listen, I think I need to create a ticket for you," right? And it might then create a ticket. So the ability to reason and decide that this document is way too complex for this employee for it to be useful, and maybe I should just create the ticket for the technician and provide them this information. That's truly agentic, and that's the kind of reasoning and intelligence that you expect from your service desk employees and also now from your agentic ITSM solutions.
So it's talking to all kinds of other systems, it's checking permissions, it's making sure that it's even relevant to the end user, whether or not it's helpful. So before we move on, I really want to pause there because you and I have actually talked about this before, and it's a huge piece that gets overlooked quite a bit. What's the real opportunity cost for organizations that are sticking with legacy ITSM platforms too long? Like, what are they missing out on? And not just in terms of features, but in outcomes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've not met any organization in last 1 year or so who is already not actively looking out to build AI-based solution, right? Like they are saying, "What is my AI strategy? How do I bring agentic AI into the picture?" All those kind of things people are already kind of looking at. So the question then becomes, um, what if I do this in a year, right? I think as a service desk leader or IT leader, you are taking a huge amount of risk by not taking an action, because not taking a decision is also taking a decision. And the decision that you're taking is, I'm not going to move towards agentic AI. And that's a very risky decision, in my opinion. It's risky from a personal perspective, right? Like, you don't see the need right now, but your management is seeing you as a person who's not moving fast enough towards the future. But you're also taking risk. For example, you're comfortable today, but in 18 months from now, the management might come with a request to execute certain cuts or something like that, and you'll not be prepared at that point of time. So if I were in the shoes of one of the IT service desk managers or CIO, I would really be looking at the solutions today and starting to implement them ASAP, because you don't want to be caught in a position where you are taking some kind of risk by not moving forward.
I agree. Listen, I don't know a single IT leader right now that's not under budget pressure. Whether it's a hiring freeze or backfills getting denied, they're being asked to do more with less. So how does a modern ITSM platform actually reduce that strain? And where do the cost efficiencies show up without cutting quality?
So, you know, there is a knowledge aspect and there's an automation aspect. If you provide great access to information of and knowledge to employees, let's assume a world where an enterprise where you have complete access to knowledge at your fingertips, any knowledge, enterprise knowledge that you are supposed to have, you can have. Just imagine what it will do to that enterprise. You'll stop wasting time searching for stuff. You don't have to worry about about not understanding a process, for example, and therefore not doing that process correctly. It'll take you tons of time. Also, let's not forget that whenever you don't find information, that is when you actually create tickets, or you're trying to seek some kind of help. Either it's from an application expert or a process expert or a your service desk expert or even HR, right? So if you don't have right information, that's when you're creating the tickets. And if you have access to a right solution from a knowledge perspective, your tickets go down. Additionally, there are a bunch of common automation, what we call task automation, repetitive, mundane things, access-related things, etc., which actually constitute a big chunk of what happens with service desk. And then there are things like employee onboarding, offboarding, which are pain point for everyone. If you add all of that, essentially what we are seeing is a huge shift left. What we are seeing is L0, L1 activities can pretty much be eliminated or reduced to a great extent. And then L2 activities will be the real activities where there's a lot of work going to get done. But some of that is going to get done by AI, but some of that is going to get done by humans. The result will be humans will be able to really focus on the things which are really important and then work on other projects which are always suffering. Overall, net, it means for enterprises, especially mid to large size enterprises, it means cost reduction. And they can repurpose the employees into different direction, and there are areas where they have not been able to focus forever. They can focus on those areas and such.
Well, speaking about the people, let's look at this through the lens of the people that it's actually impacting most. Because for ITSM to actually succeed, it has to deliver value across the board. So let's start with the employee. How does life change for them when you shift from legacy to modern?
Yeah, there are three stakeholders, right? Employee being the biggest stakeholder in the entire process. And there are a lot of ways the employees are going to benefit from bringing a agentic solution to their forefront. Obviously, first step is typically products like us engage very nicely over Teams, Slack, uh,
That's right.
where they are getting notifications, approvals, surveys, but also getting having access to knowledge. All that is happening on Teams or Slack. So that's a first big change that employees experience. That now they have something where they can get help right away via the channels that they already use.
So it's no longer a separate process. It's literally a part of how they work and where they work.
That's exactly right. Bring the help to the location they're already used to. Don't ask them to go somewhere else where they don't know or they're hesitant to go. That's step number one. They obviously have access to a bot or AI that they can talk in natural language, and they will get
Sure.
fantastic contextual responses. They have access to knowledge, so they can ask any kind of questions, and if the enterprise has that knowledge, or even sometime information and knowledge that is beyond the enterprise, will be made available to them. They can get a lot of things, self-service, resetting password, checking ticket status, triggering an onboarding request. All those kind of things can be self-serviced. So that's another. Just imagine at 11 p.m. in the night you want to get something done. You don't have to interact with anyone. Just talk to AI and get it done, and not have to wait for next day. That's fantastic, isn't it?
And
Um,
again, it's all inside Teams or Slack. They're not having to leave those portals at all, are they?
No, you can. I mean, I use it on my phone all the time, by the way, right? I don't even sometimes go to my laptop. I'm on my phone and I type stuff on Teams and things get done. It's as simple as that, right? You
That's nice.
can also do complex things like requesting laptop or requesting the AI to install your softwares. Plus, you will get different experience depending on who you are. So, if I'm a contractor versus I'm a full-time employee versus I'm a person in Asia, right? Depending on what your roles and geographic, etc., is, you'll get exactly that kind of answer. So, these are all the different ways in which employees will get a personalized, amazing experience, easy access to stuff, and basically they'll get more productive.
So what about the technician experience then? These are the folks who've been juggling 10 systems and drowning in repetitive tickets. So it's not just about fewer tickets, it's also about better tools, less mental overload, and faster resolutions, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of frustration. We humans by nature don't want to do a lot of repetitive or non-value
Mhm.
stuff. A lot of us don't want to do that. Given a choice, if you ask a person, they'll say this is frustrating for me, and everyone wants to work with a smart system. So, for example, if your tickets that have been created for you, they are smart tickets, they are auto classified, right? For example, if the right ticket is flowing to the right person based on their skill set, I solve a lot of network problem, and the network issue after identification by AI is coming to me because I've solved a problem like this in the past. How great is that, right? I don't have to work on repetitive tasks, L1 kind of task all the time. In many places, I've seen L2 people handling L1 kind of task, and it's a source of frustration, right? So if I
It's a
don't
waste of
have to,
resources.
it's a waste of resources. If I don't have to be frustrated with repetitive stuff, right, I'll be happier person. I get, let's assume if AI can give me a summary of what the ticket is, I don't even have to go inside the ticket. If AI can tell me the summary of the ticket, the sentiment related to the ticket, and the key highlights on, and maybe even prioritize which ticket I need to work on first and which ticket I need to work on second, based on a bunch of priorities, that'll be great, right? That way, I'm not wasting my time on a ticket that apparently is not important anymore, right? So that can be great for a technician. The next thing is problem ticket creation. Let's say there's a trend emerging, right?
Okay.
And let's say a lot of similar kind of issues are happening in last half an hour, and there's a trend emerging. Before I catch it, if AI catches that trend and alerts me saying, "Hey, Manish, I'm seeing too many, I don't know, Outlook issues in last 30 minutes,
Sure.
and there might be something going on. There might be some kind of Outlook outage going on. Do you want me to create a problem ticket for that? And do you want me to send a notification to everyone for that?" So I'm in control, but I am AI is helping me like a power tool to kind of make me more powerful and smart and intelligent and being able to get to things before they really become challenge. Then knowledge management, right? Knowledge management is a pain point for most service desk technicians. It's not something that they enjoy, right? Like if I ask a service desk technician, for next 2 days you got to go do a whole lot of documentation, you're not going to see a happy camper there. So what if the knowledge could be created from the interactions that I'm already doing? If I'm creating a ticket note, that becomes part of the knowledge. If I can create knowledge using information out there in the web quickly, faster, right?
Hmm.
So it will give me again a power to do a part of my job that was very painful for me in a way that I look smart in front of everyone, right? And
Love that.
yeah, absolutely right. Why do we all want to struggle with things that we don't want to do? Why don't we make those things a little bit faster and easier? And finally, in-channel technician tools. So there are a lot of in-channel technician tools coming. For example, there's a major incident going on, and as part of that, everyone is in a channel. Can the AI be in that channel, helping you through your process as you are solving that problem and keeping track of everything, etc. So there are a bunch of agent assist features which are going to help technicians in a major way in this area.
So what about leadership? These are the people that are focused on the outcomes, visibility, and strategy. What does the shift unlock for them?
It's a game changer for leadership, right? So one, even before you start something, when I say something, let's say you want to implement agentic AI, if how nice would it be if someone could tell you, listen, there is a these are the knowledge gaps that exist in your system, and these are the application automation gaps that exist. If someone could precisely guide you in terms of where your gaps are in your current service desk, that'll be great, isn't it? And we have something called desk IQ. That is literally the first step that we suggest to many enterprises to do before they get started. This is all, by the way, agentic AI driven. So this will help you actually make an assessment of where you are, which is very difficult to come by, surprisingly difficult to come by if you go into any service desk, right? Drawing a baseline, if you will. Then better information, right? And there I want to add one thing. There are new features that we are working on, and where you can just ask AI, hey, tell me how many tickets have we dealt with in last 24 hours? Tell me how many people have come to come to AI but got their issue resolved without talking to humans,
So you
right?
don't have to scour through a dashboard for so long. Now you can just ask the agentic AI in plain language what
Yeah.
you're looking for, and it'll give you the answer.
Yeah, this is where the industry is going, by the way, right? Like, so we also have in our product very powerful interface, very nice dashboard ability, and so on
Hmm.
and so forth, better than anyone else. But in future, the direction will be entirely conversational, where you don't have to worry about individual pieces, but you can just you can just go and ask, hey, what about this, what about that, stuff like that. By the way, on top of it, there's some critical metrics like agent performance and ticket trends and
Sure.
automation usage. You can find out how nice will it be if you can find out all that information at your fingertip. In most service desk agents, they know about the agent performance, like the employee performance, but they don't know about, like, for example, automation. Tell me how much automation was used, tell me the ticket trend. These are things which take a lot of time and effort to get done. And if these can be done faster, that'll be beautiful experience for anyone in leadership exercise. Then we have this aura insights, right, which is for example, scoring tickets based on clarity, etc., etc. What that means is getting not only hard information on the tickets but softer information. What was the sentiment of the tickets that Manish worked
That's
on,
right.
right? What is the clarity of the conversation that Manish is having, right? Things of that nature, which are softer aspects, which are extremely difficult to track with any of the last technologies, legacy technologies. These can only be done by generative AI on or the agentic technologies.
We're seeing a lot of buzz around enterprise search tools, Glean, Cinequa, you name it. But the real power comes like when search isn't just an add-on, but it's built into the ITSM experience. Why do you think, Manish, that enterprise search belongs inside of ITSM? And what makes that agentic search platforms outperform generic LLM-based ones?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Enterprise search, there are a lot of companies that have come up which are saying, hey, here is our tool which will provide you enterprise search solution. And I think that's everyone wants that right now, which is a
Sure.
great thing. But I think these products belong with the service desk and ITSM product. Why? Because as I was explaining earlier, anytime you seek knowledge and your purpose is not solved just by seeking knowledge, what do you do then? Maybe there's an automation for the thing that you're saying, process automation that needs to be kicked off, not knowledge. Are you going to go to a different system and kick off that process automation? Maybe an expert needs to be brought in for the conversation. Are you now going to go to a different system for that? Maybe a ticket needs to be created, right? Maybe you need to have a live chat with an expert who's available right now. Maybe you need
Maybe I just
to,
need a day off.
yes, I need a day off, right? So, I mean, the question is, how many AI systems are you going to have, right? Not, you
Sure.
can't have infinite number. So, the best solution, in my opinion, is to have the knowledge enterprise search system with the ITSM system, the way it is built in Rezolve.ai, by the way, because it can not only give all the employees access to enterprise knowledge at a reasonable cost, by the way, but also give them a recourse to do more than knowledge management if they want to do, which oftentimes they want to do. So therefore, my prediction for most of these enterprise knowledge search products is either they will evolve into what we are already, they'll want to, or they will become less relevant as people will get frustrated and say, it's great that you gave me the knowledge, but I want to do something more.
Sure, everyone agrees that self-service is going to be the future, but keeping that knowledge up to date, dude, it's a nightmare. It's
Yeah.
the knowledge paradox. You need it, but you can't keep up with it. So how is agentic AI transforming knowledge management inside of ITSM, especially when it comes to converting tickets, chats, and tribal knowledge into, actual usable content?
Yeah, knowledge management is not easy, right? And we have focused a lot on that area to make it easy. I was talking about how it is easy for technicians, but
Mhm.
imagine, I'll give you a scenario. You are a CISO and you just learned of a new phishing attack, very effective phishing attack that has come in, and you want to inform all your employees, equip them with the right information right away, right? So how are you going to create a knowledge article? What you can do is you can go to a website like Nest or some other websites where this information already they would have published how to handle this. You can point your AI towards that website and tell the AI, listen, I want to create a quick policy document, informational policy document for everyone. And by the way, go to this website and use that as a source material. It should be around 2 paragraphs long. And by the way, I need a knowledge article to be created. And by the way, give me something for broadcast material also. I want to send outgoing messages to everyone. And voila, your AI creates that knowledge article. You look at it, you approve it, you say boom, done. And then not only that, AI also suggests what kind of, for example, notifications you can send to people. You create a quick notification, send a button, and goes to all your employees, and it alerts them saying, listen, there's a new kind of phishing attack happening, it's latest, this is what you need to watch out for. Please pay attention. And by the way, if you want to learn more, go here. And there's a beautiful, nice knowledge article. If they want to ask something, they can just ask. So
Yeah, that's
make it
powerful.
easy.
And just under 4 minutes to go, we could talk about automation all day long. Automation used to mean scripting out basic workflows, but now it's getting smarter. Modern ITSM isn't just about automating, it's about knowing what to automate, when, and why. So where's automation headed in this agentic era? What new opportunities are opening up?
Yeah, you brought some very interesting point. The automation is going to change too in the agentic era significantly. Um, I don't know if we can cover that enough in this conversation, but I'll give you a glimpse on what the automation is going. Maybe, Rob, you should set up a discussion just on automation next time. But
Absolutely.
right, but I'll tell you that right now most of the automation is scripted. Do this and then do this and then do this, and it's an if then else loop for most part. What if agentic AI is so smart that all you do is give the problem statement, hey, I'm going through this problem, and agentic AI, which has access to certain APIs and certain integrations, then decides, and maybe some runbooks, then decides what to do to help you. For example, it can run a diagnostic on your laptop to figure out why your laptop is slow, and then decide if it needs to run a particular PowerShell script or not. Right. So this is a situation where you're not building a scripted automation, but you're giving agent a power to kind of decide step by step basis. And this means revolution, because what you mean is all your traditional RPA products and anything with the step by step process is going to become suddenly outdated. And this is
And
the
I've seen the
direction.
explainability capabilities at Rezolve.ai. That's again, a whole other show on its own, but hopefully maybe we can combine that with the automation
Yeah,
takeaway.
yeah,
But I
we
really
should
want
do
to end
that.
on a tough note, Manish. If I'm an IT leader still on a legacy system, what's the real risk of staying put? Like, what am I putting at stake, whether I realize it or not?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, not taking a decision is also taking a decision.
Hmm.
I will highly recommend to everyone who's on a legacy ideas platform to explore products like us. You will be surprised. There's a huge transformation going on, and you don't want to be sitting with one legacy platform which you're already frustrated with due to regular reasons. But once you look at one of the what a product like Rezolve.ai can do, you can solve 3 or 4 problems and really give a great boost to your career as well, honestly, between you and me. So I think it's time to move for most people. And if they have any particular questions in any which way we can help them, we are here to support and help such people.
That's exactly right. Manish, this has been incredibly insightful. I want to thank you so much for walking us through what's changing and why it matters. And to everybody out there watching, thank you all for joining us. We'll be sending out a follow-up with additional resources, a recap if you'd like. Again, we're available for questions if you have any. And definitely, we're here to guide you through the next steps if you're ready to explore what modern agentic ITSM could look like in your world. But until then, thanks again, and we will see you soon.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Manish.